Hello everyone, Don here and welcome to another video. Just like last video, I decided to, do some more commentary and basically I'm thinking I'll be doing these videos from now on as sort of run reviews, where I watch over my own run and try to review, what I did good, what I did bad, what I could have improved on. That way I could, learn from my own runs even better, since, when you're in the moment, you don't necessarily pay attention to everything around you and all that. Whereas after the fact, you can really just, you're not in the heat of the moment anymore. So yeah, and I hope that through these videos I could also maybe help you improve by showing you my mistakes in the game. So yeah, so here I am starting the run with getting the orb that's above the mountain. That's just, the outer orb is generally easy to get unless you, I don't know, unless you start with a bomb wand. Then in that case it's, not hard, or it's not easy, because yeah, getting over the mountain without with just a bomb spell is way too difficult. But yeah, so far so good, although I did take some hits already, so that's not that's not good. Yeah, and I won't necessarily be going over every single second of the video. I will be doing more major skips in any case. So right now I'm using the saw blade wand because yeah, it's a strong spell. I like the saw blade spell actually quite a bit because of how powerful it is in the early game. Of course, it can hurt you, but as long as you're being careful, it's fine to use, which is why I'm using it. And that's why I put it in the first slot where my main attack wand is. I really hate it when the toxic sludge is just a very thin layer, because it's way harder to purify compared to an actual pool of toxic sludge. TNT is one of the best starting explosion spells. The only problem is that you also need to get good at using it, because after all, depending on the distance of your cursor from your character, the TNT is thrown either stronger or weaker. So I decided to skip forward because honestly, the things I do in the mines and collapsed mines is nothing particularly impressive or anything like that. So yeah, that enemy always explodes into acid, which is why you never want to kill him when he's above you. Generally the exploration of the mines is for the most part the same once you reach a certain point, since yeah, if you aren't taking too many risks and getting down to 7 HP, you should be able to get, much better results. Yeah, there wasn't anything of particular note, so I just skipped over to this point where I should really just move forward, and I do. Once your health starts going down, so should you. I'm at 7 HP, which is really bad. So here I skip the heart and the spell refresh because you never know, but my goodness, this is a really nice shop. Spark Trigger, Chainsaw, those are very nice spells. So, perks. In terms of perks, yeah, I personally don't like the Angry Ghost at all, but like extra item and concentrated spells are both really good. Well, more so concentrated than extra item, but yeah, as you can see, I instantly buy up the nice spells, and I also invest in the rock spell for potential homing rock in the future if I can get, the other necessary ingredients for that. And I finally pick up the health and spells refresh, since yeah, Spark Trigger Chainsaw, it's basic, but it does the job. There's literally no reason for that double to be there other than, I guess, storage, but yeah, it's not like storage is really important in this point. Let's say at this stage, yeah, Spark Trigger with Chainsaw, that's probably like the best you could do with these resources. And of course I have concentrated spells, which gives me a lot more damage than I usually would have. So yeah, I'm trying here different orders because at this point I didn't fully understand exactly how, like, my one building was not on the same level as it is now. But yeah, nowadays I would be more inclined to just put spark trigger with chainsaw on one wand and call it a day, and then obviously the change on one of the other ones, so I actually have digging in the coal pits. Honestly, there's not really. Yeah, that's way too risky. Like, no, that kind of combination will definitely get you killed if you're. No, even if you're careful, it will definitely get you killed. And I'd say buying that other spark bolt would be once again an investment such as the rock, because once you get a wand with more capacity, you can start putting spark bolts in the payload, which means that those spark bolts will share their extra 5% crit with the rest of the spells, which is going to be very nice. But yeah, so moving on into the coal pits. If I had the chainsaw instead of the spitter bolt, I would be able to actually dig a little bit through the softer materials here. But yeah, as it is, the wand isn't as good at digging. And that right there down there is a formation that I passed over just now. I don't know if at the time I just, like, if I noticed it and passed it over for whatever reason, or no, I probably just didn't notice it. This is yet another spot where it would be way more useful to have the chainsaw instead of the spitter bolt on my wand, because once again the chainsaw would make quick work of this skull and would let me get to that one faster. But instead, here I am spending forever digging, and the only digging that's happening here is because of the spark bolt. The spitter bolt isn't doing any heavy lifting with the digging. Yeah, the chainsaw is just better here. So this one it has some nice stats for this stage of the game, but it only has two spots in two capacity, which is not which is not good. Two capacity is really bad even for this stage of the game. Now this wand is a shuffle wand, so really the only reason why you take this wand is because of that double. Although I guess because I have concentrated spells, I could just put a bunch of random bullshit on the shuffle wand and, you know, just deal a ton of damage, which would work for the, like, early game. Obviously, the fungal caverns are very dangerous, and you don't want to, you don't want to go there when your HP is too low. 150 is, I guess, fine, but obviously more HP would be better. Though this was recorded back when I was generally worse at the game, so at the time this was an extra bigger risk for me, because yeah, there is a lot of good resources potentially in the fungal caverns. However, there's also enemies that too strong for newbies to deal with. Oh, that's a chest. And wait, is that a mimic? Yes, it's a mimic. This is why you always try to attack the chests from a distance instead of, going up to open them. Now this one, that mana charge speed is horrendous. 20 is, like, not enough, but at least it got some spells we'd like to, take from it, specifically the triplicate. I really hate these annoying jungle enemies. Now, as you may notice, my health is below 100, which means that the fungal area is really an even bigger risk, because yeah, the enemies are too strong, and I'm down to 45 already. That was just a few hits. So I've backed myself into a corner, which you could think of as a good thing or a bad thing, because as you can see, I'm just forcing the enemies through a bit of a bottleneck, so I can just clearly shoot at them, and most of them are melee, so that makes it relatively easier to deal with them. However, at the same time, if they get too close to me, I'm fucked. That's it for me. So yeah, Now with 35 HP, I would say that even the cold pits are too dangerous. Oh, that's a hive on the right, meaning that there could have been a hard formation. However, 35 HP is too low to just stick around in the cold pits. That bee could have easily just killed me. And small teleport bolt, one of the best spells in the game. So these perks are, well, Cordyceps is not not a good perk. I forgot what the second perk was, but it's also whatever. Telekinetic kick is really the best of those three perks, which is why I took it. Now the lightning bolt. It's a very powerful spell, but it can easily just you know get you got like that. If I was a little too close to that wall, I would have at least taken a lot of damage. And obviously, on the field, in the actual area, I would have just, with enemies around, I would have just died. Yeah, once again, that's a very risky one because I cast it at my feet and I instantly die. Yeah, the first one is still generally just better, at least in this case. And so this is the loadout I'm going in with into the next area. And here I am trying to do the Holy Mountain escape with the teleport bolt and succeeding. So as you can see, the first one is really damn, those enemies just came in with the acceleration. Not only is the wand nice, but a concentrated spells gives me a lot of extra damage here. That's why, good job me. Now as you can see now, I'm demonstrating basically here the past me showcasing the good parts and the bad parts of having a really good teleportation. On the one hand, you can get around really fast. On the other hand, if you're not being careful, you can teleport yourself into enemies and fucking die. And that's why, like, while you're starting out, it's likely, easier, or at least teleportation is riskier, but as you gain more skill over time, it becomes way better. Like, as you gain skills, the ability to teleport becomes safer in the sense that you know how to properly get around without getting yourself into a horrible position. Yeah, once again, the lightning is really good, but also really risky, because also it makes you want a spark with electricity, meaning that if you're holding your electric wand and you're in water or blood or something like that, you will yeah, I was really close to electrocuting myself just now, in there, as you saw, but thankfully I didn't. So these perks, spontaneous generation is nice, but yeah, bouncing spells is what I took because, well, you'll see in a bit. Man, these sessions in the Holy Mountain are very long considering, even with limited resources, there's still a lot you can do. So here I am, using the concentrated mana to get even more concentrated mana. Because, yeah, it's a really useful liquid even though I barely ever use it. But yeah, maybe this is another thing that just comes more naturally with experience, or maybe I guess it's more useful when you have Iron Stomach because you can really just load up on the buff. But yeah, as you can see, I overate and now my movements are very slow. Nice. Oh yeah, Luminous Drill. Lumi drills are always really, really good. Good job past me. And I collapsed the mountain. And see, the electricity is really good until you're in very tight quarters, which is the entirety of Hisi base. Hisi base is a bunch of tight quarters that you really can't risk it with the lightning. unless you have, light electric immunity. But then you should also get explosion immunity, because like most of the damage here is actually explosion damage, and then there's also electrocution on top of that. There's really no point in drinking the warm blood here, because yeah, it just gave me 4 seconds of vision. This one took some interesting loops around, but yeah, I'm back in the snowy depths. There isn't much point in going backwards at this stage. Now, broken wands are really nice to try to get, because if it turns into a good wand at the Hisi anvil, then yeah, then that's another great investment. And if not, not. Do you notice how my small teleport bot is behaving? That's because of the third perk I took, which adds bouncing, which adds an extra bounce to my spells, but also gives them add mana is always nice. It adds extra bounce, but also increases the spell's lifetime. Now, if you've ever seen a ping pong Lumi drill, then you would know that it's a Lumi drill, but that extends really far ahead of you. And the reason for that is because the ping pong path modifier actually gives the Lumi drill extra lifetime. The same goes with my perk here. I forget the perk's name, but yeah, the third perk. It also gives spells lifetime, meaning that you can have an effect similar to Ping Pong Lumi, except right now my Lumi drill wand is way too dangerous to use, which is why I need to actually tinker with it. Sadly, I failed the re-entry into Hisi base, or into the Holy Mountain, so I have to go into the next mountain to actually tinker with my wands. Yeah, finally at the Hisi anvil, time to throw in those were some soul blades. It fixes the broken wand and gives me a wand with horrendous mana charge speed. Fantastic. And it's a shuffler on top of that. So yeah, as you saw right there, the Lumi drill extended way further ahead from my position, which is exactly because of the third perk. I pushed my luck quite a bit with this one, since I'm all the way down to 4 HP when I moved to the Holy Mountain, which yeah, yep, time to take off the bad spells, and that's really nice. It's really nice. Now, obviously, the extra life is the perk you wanna take it there. I took Summon Sede Kiwi only because I really just want to use the Sede Kiwi. And yeah, here we can see it. Extra lifetime Lumi drill is very powerful. Obviously, one potential detractor is the fact that the Lumi drill will also dig your money away. So there's that. Though if you're just like tapping it, most of the gold should still survive. But yeah, once again, if you get a perk like extra life or saving grace, it's better to take that instead of any of the other perks, unless any of the other perks offer you a good enough advantage. And here I am converting water to more concentrated mana. The extra lifetime really makes this way faster to dig than usual, since like even if you have like the fastest regular Lumi drill spell, it would still take quite a while to actually dig through all that. But the additional lifetime just makes it really nice. I hate it when my water flask turns into fire. And it's even worse here because I converted all of my water into concentrated mana. So yeah, I have no water. This is why you make sure to preserve at least a little bit of water. And that was silly. And also dangerous because that lightning exploded way too close to me. But man, being able to just destroy the enemies at a distance instead of what I did just now. Yeah, destroying enemies at a distance, really nice. Fucking blowing up one of those tanks or whatever from really close up, that's just stupid. Naturally, blood can be used as a substitute for water, at least to an extent, so I just scooped some up. Now notice how I am exploring his base at 100 HP. Yeah, I may have dealt with most of it. And I have this awesome Lumi drill wand that is made extra awesome because my spells have extra lifetime. However, and this is why I should have just moved on to the underground jungle. I destroyed the propane tank while being too close to it and it blowed me up. So, yeah, thank you all very much for watching. This was my run review of my own run, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!